Michael, Search here from the backyard driving range. All right, we have a question that came in from Michael Shumtzok, and he signs in the end as Mike S. And he says, Don, hello from a former student of your class in Florida. Since I took that class, my ball striking has gotten much better and my score has dropped to a consistent low 90s, high 80s, which is exciting. I'm still struggling with consistency and direction, which gets me into trouble sometimes, but that is not the focus of this email. What really gets me into trouble and is the cause of at least 2 to 3 strokes of rounds is my chipping from the rough, i.e. Bermuda grass. Okay, right, if you're in Florida, you have Bermuda grass. If the ball is lying in the first cut or the fairway, or when I'm practicing from my AstroTurf mat, I don't have any problems getting the ball to go where I'm aiming. However, when I'm trying to chip from the rough, 90% of the time it's a 45-degree shank off to the right. Uh-oh, he used a bad word. You know, I usually call those hosel rockets, and he says he's right-handed. All right, so he's hitting the hosel rockets dead right, which would imply a shank. I've tried opening my stance, closing my stance, swinging the club like a putter, slicing it across the ball, various ideas on wrist angle, various ball placements in the stance, chopping at it and swinging through it. I just can't seem to get any decent results. I have the Kenny Knox short game video, and it has helped somewhat, but I must be missing some fundamentals. It is frustrating, and I feel it's the biggest issue right now that's keeping me from shooting in the 80s consistently instead of just occasionally. What should I be doing differently when chipping from the rough rather than from a nice lie in the fairway or first cut? All right, great question, and we can answer some of that here. First off, I want to address a couple issues here that are basically going against some of the precepts of the peak performance golf swing. First precept is we have 5 secrets that I call them, because when you don't know what they are, they're secrets until you learn them, and once you learn them, they become rules. Rule 1, 2, 3, and 4 involve the swing. Rule number 5, set up and swing. Rule number 5 states it's about playing golf, all right? And that one states that when you hit a bad shot, how many of us stay there, as soon as we hit a bad shot, we think to ourselves, what did I do wrong? And or one of your friends might say, oh, you did this or this or that. And so then what mode does that put you into as a player? Well, what did I do wrong? Well, it could be this, or it could be that, or it could be that. It could be, I like to use the expression that, let's say I gave you a box of fortune cookies that has 100 fortune cookies in it, and I say the answer to your problem that you just caused that caused you a bad shot there is in one of those fortune cookies. So you say, all right, so you go over there, you break the box open, you start pulling out the fortune cookies, rip them out of the little cellophane package, break it open, pull out the strips, and lay them out. So when you get all done the cookies, you got a pile of cellophane in the box, and you threw all the cookies in there. Hopefully you didn't eat them all, but you threw what you didn't eat in there, and now you get all these 100 sheets. Which one is it? Is it this one, or that one, or that one, or that one, or that one? You might as well be going trying to pick leaves off the tree up there to get your answer. The answer is, when you say to yourself, what did I do wrong? The answer is, who cares? Do the next one right. That's why I do these dailies. That's why we have all these concepts that we put in the performance manuals, in the videos. We teach you what exactly has to happen from the setup, from the grip, right down to how your feet have to be, to every aspect of the swing, the positions of the swing. Once you know what you're supposed to do, just keep doing it. No matter what, you can buy the most expensive car in the world, but it's still got a chance of breaking down. You can buy the best washing machine, the best TV or whatever. Most expensive, but it's still got a probability of breaking down. Everything can break down. Our bodies can break down. And then with a golf swing, they can break down a lot easier, because why? There's so much, so to speak, intricate movement in it. And having to maintain balance and form and the right muscle tones and everything else. So forget about what you did wrong. Just think about what you're doing right. What you need to do right or correctly. All right? The second thing is, and he stated that by saying how he opened his stance, closed his stance, did this, did that, blah, 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 everything else. So that's what I'm addressing right here about. Just get back to basics and do it correctly. All right? I think the biggest key I got to ask now is, he says he hit the S word, the hosel rocket, the lateral. All right? Now, the only way to really know that is a hosel rocket is going to come off of the hosel. All right, which means it's going to, the ball will have hit, and I'm going to walk in here real close so you can see my club here, and The hosel rocket means it's hit directly off the hosel. The ball strikes right here in the hosel. Right in here in the hosel instead of being hit here in the face, okay? It's in here in the hosel, and so therefore it can come straight out that way. It's why they call it the lateral. The one thing I tell people all the time is that when you're playing golf or standing near someone on a range, okay? If this is hosel rockets can be bad if you're standing in the wrong place. If this is my aiming line, right? My shaft, the leading edge of my club is right here. I tell folks, and you watch me when I'm teaching, I never get on that side of the line. In other words, the face side of the line. I never get out there. Because why? Somebody just has a breakdown in their swing and they put the hosel on the ball, it can go right there. And so my number one statement about hosel rockets is if you never stand on the forward side or the target side of a straight line out from the leading edge. Especially if the person holding the club is the beneficiary to your life insurance. Because you get your hosel rocket, you can get hurt pretty darn bad, if not even kill yourself, if you get hit in the wrong place. All right? And naturally, the more loft there is the club, I would say that you can hit hosel rockets from any iron down that has a little bit of a hosel. But as you get to the longer clubs, the shorter clubs, excuse me, you get from the 7-iron to the 8 to the 9 pitcher wedge, you got a heck of a lot more hosel. And especially if you got offset golf clubs. So that, and the more hosel you got, the more angled straight out from the face it can go, from the shaft it can go. All right. So now that we got that covered, let's talk about how we can cure this situation. All right. Mike is talking about basically chip and pitch shots around the green. All right. The first question I'm going to ask him is he really shanking? All right. Is he really hitting the hosel? Now you say, well, it went that way. Well, see, watch this. I'm going to aim over here. I'm going to aim this way. And I'm going to hit the ball in the net, which is where a hosel rocket would go. All right? I can come in here, and I can come in here and go like this. And it just went in the net. All right? Now you say, who's going to do that? Well, I've seen it. I've had golfers come to me saying, Serge, you got to help me, man. I'm only doing it with my short game, my chip shots and stuff, but I'm hitting the hosel rockets. They're using the S word. All right? So what are they doing? Instead of coming down here and letting their hands square up like they do, like they're tossing a rock, they come in here and they're trying to kind of punch or hit the ball into the net, and they're opening their hands up, and if the face is over here, where's the ball going to go? It's going to go right over there. And if I opened it up bad enough, it could be going straight out exactly like a pure, perfectly struck hosel rocket. All right? So that's the first thing you got to look at. All right? Now the second aspect that I'm going to look at here is, I think the clue lies in what he tells us. He's saying that as long as he's in the first fringe in short grass, he has no problems. But it's when he's chipping out of the rough. Well, I'm thinking what's going to be happening there is, the odds are that if he's in rough, even if it's only about 1.5 inches or 2 inches, the ball is very likely in most Bermuda, especially when it's hot in the summertime, the ball falls real deep into the rough. So the key you have to do here is basically two important things. I don't care whether you're chipping with a 7-iron or you're trying to chip it out with a sand wedge, all right, or pitch it out. You have to really increase your grip pressure. You have to make sure that when you come down, you're coming down quite steeply on it, because you're going to go down and get it and pop it up. And if you're coming down, if your grip is a little too light and you're coming in a little too shallow, like you could hit a chip shot over here like this, but if I'm in the rough, I'm going to have to come up like that probably. So if he's coming in too shallow, what happens? As the club is coming in shallow, but yet starting to go deeper in the rough, that rough just grabs it. It's like all these fingers up there just grabbing it, and it just starts to slow it down. And it can even get to the point where if he's not holding enough, and he can be twisting the face open, and by the time he hits the ball, the face is open enough and it's going that way. So you have to get, when you're in that rough, a chip shot might be more like a knockdown pitch shot, and you might have to go down and get it pretty good. And you're going to have to really hold on really firm with that club to make sure that the rough doesn't twist it. Because if the rough starts dragging the toe will open. If the rough starts grabbing the heel slows down, the toe can shut. But either way, you have to kind of take, if it's in that rough and it's down, sitting down, you've got to take that rough out of it and come in there steeper. And you've got to make sure that you're using a club that's going to, when you hit it, it's going to launch it enough to get it clearing out that grass immediately, because if you're coming in and you don't have enough loft, or you've de-lofted the club too much with the hands too forward, the ball can come out and the gruff can grab it a little bit and can basically kill the shot, so that even if you did hit it straight, it might come up way short and not fly anywhere near as far as you wanted, and flying shorter and getting grabbed by the rough is going to basically take a lot of speed and energy off the ball that could hit and go nowhere. So you have to increase the muscle tone in your hands, and you have to come down, and when it's in, and especially low. Now, if the ball is sitting way up high on top of the rough, you can still clip it like a regular shot. You're going to have to just stay really close, you know, really careful in making sure you're keeping your knees level and your club's coming through, and you kind of pick it right off the top of the rough. But I know Mike is talking about balls that are down. There's no doubt about it. So when it's down, you got to go get it. You need enough loft to clear it out, and you have to stay firm, and you have to what? You're going to have to hit it harder. Now, how hard? That's only you can learn that for yourself by getting in situations like that and practicing it and see. And even then, no matter how good you get, every now and then a ball's going to come out hotter than you expected it, and it's going to come out a lot softer or deader than you expected and go nowhere. You're still going to get nailed every now and then, but the only way when that ball is down, you have to get a little bit forward, up, down, and hit it, and follow through might be difficult, so you got to make sure that when you hit it, you at least get to the ball first, and it's still accelerating as it goes after impact as much as you can do. All right, so Mike, go down, go get it, firm arms, firm wrist, firm hands, and you got to hit it, and you just got to learn what your feeling is on the amount of grip pressure you have to have and how hard you have to hit it to pull those shots off. But it's a totally different shot from when it's out there in the short grass or off your mat like over here. This is a piece of cake. There's nothing stopping me. But when you get that rough there, you got to firm up, strengthen up, go down and get it, and make sure that you do anything you can to not let the club twist, and you get that club on the ball quick and get it up and out. All right? Well, that's it for the Surge for today on this tip on chipping out of the rough around the green. And hopefully this will help all of you if you've been having those problems, and because that's what it's all about. Nobody hits all the greens, so we want to become short game wizards, because when we miss those greens, we get them up and down, we shoot those lower scores. That's it for the Surge for today, and I'll be talking with you all again soon.